Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to dive into a really cool area of AI.
Absolutely. And this one's a game changer, let me tell you.
We're talking about AI that doesn't just make predictions, but tells you how much you can trust those predictions.
Exactly. Think about it. How much more confident would you feel if your AI tools didn't just give you an answer, but also told you how likely that answer was to be correct?
It would completely change how we approach decision making, especially in fields where even a small error can have huge consequences.
That's where conformal prediction comes in.
And we're going beyond the hype today, looking at how a company with a history, as long as the U.S. itself is using this in the real world.
Husqvarna Group. They're tackling some really interesting challenges using conformal prediction, and we've got a backstage pass to see exactly how they're doing it.
It's like getting to peek behind the curtain and see cutting-edge AI in action.
What's exciting about conformal prediction is that it adds a layer of certainty that's often missing in traditional AI approaches.
So it's less about eliminating uncertainty completely and more about understanding and quantifying it.
Exactly. Instead of just giving you a single number, conformal prediction gives you a range of predictions with a specific confidence level.
So instead of saying this is what will happen, it's more like we're 90% sure this will happen within this range.
Yes. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a business trying to predict how many products you'll sell next month.
You need to order inventory, allocate staff, so many moving parts.
Right. A traditional AI might say you'll sell 1,000 units. But with conformal prediction, you might get a range like we're 90% sure you'll sell between 900 and 1,100 units.
That extra information, that range, gives you so much more flexibility.
And a lot more confidence in your planning. Now you can make more informed decisions about inventory and staffing, knowing that you're covered for a range of potential outcomes.
That's huge for a business trying to stay agile in a constantly changing market. It's less about being right all the time, and more about understanding the risks and opportunities associated with uncertainty.
And that's what makes conformal prediction so powerful. It helps you make smarter decisions, even when you can't predict the future with 100% certainty.
And to really illustrate this, we'll be diving into 2 case studies from Husqvarna Group.
They've been using conformal prediction to streamline their operations in some really creative ways.
From managing shipping containers, a hot topic these days.
Tell me about it. Supply chains have been a nightmare for so many industries lately.
To ensuring the precision of their robotic lawnmowers.
We'll get into the specifics, but let's just say they're using this technology to make sure those little mowers are working exactly as intended.
Okay, let's start with those shipping containers. So, Husqvarna's construction division, what was the specific challenge they were facing?
Well, like a lot of companies, they were struggling to predict how many shipping containers they'd need from their factories in Asia weeks in advance.
That sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It is. You've got fluctuating product demand, multiple teams to coordinate with, and of course all the global supply chain disruptions that have been happening lately.
It's enough to make anyone want to pull their hair out. I can only imagine the pressure their planning team was under.
Exactly. They needed a more reliable way to forecast their shipping container needs, and that's where conformal prediction came in.
So instead of relying on those traditional forecasting methods, which we know can be a bit hit or miss, especially in unpredictable environments,
they turned to conformal prediction, which, as we've discussed, provides that range of predictions with a guaranteed confidence level.
So instead of saying, we need 100 containers, they could say, we're 90% sure we'll need between 90 and 110.
And that makes a world of difference in a world of supply chain chaos.
Right. That flexibility could be a lifesaver for a business, especially in today's environment.
Absolutely. Having too few containers means production delays and missed deadlines, but having too many means paying for storage and transportation you don't need.
And in today's economy, every penny counts. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance between having enough but not too much.
And that's where conformal prediction really shines. It helps you optimize your resources and minimize those costly mistakes.
Now, I'm curious, did they uncover any surprising insights once they started applying conformal prediction to their shipping container dilemma? I feel like this kind of technology could reveal hidden patterns you might not see otherwise.
You're good at this. That's exactly what happened. When they analyzed their data, a really interesting pattern emerged. They saw a distinct peak in container demand every summer.
Okay, so at first glance, you might think, oh, it's construction season. People are building more, so they need more materials.
That's a logical guess, right? But it wasn't directly tied to the weather or any other obvious factors they could pinpoint.
So what was causing this summer surge in container demand? It sounds like one of those mysteries AI detectives are made for.
It definitely highlights how conformal prediction can reveal hidden connections that traditional methods might miss. Sometimes those hidden connections lead to a clear answer, and
Sometimes they just lead to more questions.
Exactly. But those questions can be valuable in themselves, right? They can point you in new directions for research and lead to even more insights down the road.
So it's like having a powerful new lens through which to view your data.
A lens that can help you make smarter decisions, uncover hidden opportunities, and navigate the uncertainty of today's business world.
It sounds like Husqvarna found a real winner with conformal prediction, and we've only just scratched the surface.
We've got a whole other case study to dig into this time involving those robotic lawnmowers I mentioned earlier.
All right, let's shift gears from shipping containers to smart lawn care. I'm ready for more AI insights.
You got it.
All right, let's shift gears from shipping containers to smart lawn care. I'm ready for more AI insights.
You got it. So this time we're stepping inside Husqvarna's robotic lawnmower factory in the UK.
Okay, picture this. A factory floor, robots whizzing around. What's the challenge here?
It's all about precision. They need to make sure those plastic components like the lawnmower chassis are manufactured with almost zero weight variation.
Because even a tiny difference in weight could throw the whole thing off.
Exactly. We're talking fractions of a gram making the difference between a perfectly functioning lawnmower and one that needs to be sent back for repairs.
Wow, that's a whole other level of meticulous. I would have thought such tiny variations could matter so much.
Oh, in a high-precision manufacturing process like this, every milligram counts. And of course, it's all about keeping those production lines moving smoothly.
So how does conformal prediction come into play? Are they weighing each part individually as it comes off the line?
That would be pretty tough to do in real time. Instead, they're using data from thousands of molding cycles, each cycle representing a chance for those tiny weight variations to creep in.
Okay, so they're analyzing those variations to see if they fall within an acceptable range. But how do they determine what's acceptable?
That's where conformal prediction shines. They used a massive data set from over 3,000 molding cycles and fed that into their conformal prediction models.
And those models then spit out the range of weights that would ensure, with high confidence, that the parts are good to go.
You got it. It's like setting those guardrails for the manufacturing process. As long as the weight of a part falls within that predicted range, they're confident it meets their quality standards.
So it's less about eliminating variation entirely and more about understanding and controlling it.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, all the different conformal prediction methods they tested in this case worked extremely well. They got the accuracy they needed to keep those robotic lawnmowers rolling off the production line with high precision.
Music to a manufacturer's ears, I'm sure. So they're using AI to maintain the quality and consistency of their products, even down to the tiniest detail.
And here's a bonus insight they got. Conformal prediction actually helped them to define what normal variation looks like in their molding process.
Oh, that's interesting. So they learned to differentiate between the tiny expected fluctuations and the variations that might actually signal a real problem.
Exactly. Talk about working smarter, not harder. It means they can now focus their attention or resources on those deviations that really matter, instead of getting bogged down in every little blip.
It's like having an AI-powered early warning system for their production line.
Exactly. It helps them to be more proactive and efficient with their quality control, which is a huge win in any manufacturing environment.
Okay, so we've seen conformal prediction tame unruly supply chains and bring incredible precision to robotic lawnmower manufacturing. I'm definitely seeing the potential here. But I'm also thinking about our listeners who might be saying, this is all very impressive, but I don't work with shipping containers or robotic lawnmowers.
That's a fair point. Not everyone's dealing with those specific challenges, but that's where the real aha moment comes in. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to conformal prediction.
It's about the bigger picture, right?
Exactly. What we're really talking about here is a fundamental shift in how we approach predictions and decision-making in any field where uncertainty exists. And that's pretty much, well, everywhere.
Okay, so we've seen conformal prediction tame unruly supply chains and bring incredible precision to robotic lawnmower manufacturing. I'm definitely seeing the potential here. But I'm also thinking about our listeners who might be saying, this is all very impressive, but I don't work with shipping containers or robotic lawnmowers.
That's a fair point. Not everyone's dealing with those specific challenges, but that's where the real aha moment comes in. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to conformal prediction.
It's about the bigger picture. Right.
Exactly. We're talking about a completely different way of approaching predictions and making decisions in any field where there's uncertainty, which is, well, pretty much every field, if you think about it.
So it's not just about factories and production lines. It's about something much more fundamental.
Exactly. Think about how often you rely on some kind of prediction in your daily life.
Let me see. Checking the weather forecast before I leave the house.
There you go. Or maybe you're looking at traffic patterns before you head out to avoid the rush hour.
Or trying to decide if I have enough money left in my budget for, well, anything fun this month.
Those are all great examples, and they all involve some level of uncertainty. Conformal prediction just helps you understand and quantify that uncertainty.
It's like that extra bit of information that helps you make a more informed decision, even if you can't know the future for sure.
Precisely. And this applies to some really important decisions too. Imagine you're a financial analyst trying to predict how the stock market will perform. Or you're a doctor deciding on the best course of treatment for a patient.
Those are high-stakes situations where you really want to get it right.
And conformal prediction can give you that extra layer of confidence, helping you make the best possible call, even with incomplete information.
It's not about eliminating uncertainty entirely. It's about knowing how to navigate it effectively.
I like that. It's about embracing the unknown and using these powerful tools to guide our decisions.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into conformal prediction today, I want to leave our listeners with this. Think about those areas in your own work or life where you make decisions based on predictions.
It could be anything, planning a project, making an investment, even just deciding what to wear tomorrow based on the weather forecast.
Exactly. Ask yourself, how could I benefit from knowing more about the uncertainty involved in this decision? Because sometimes understanding what you don't know is just as important as what you do know.
And that's where conformal prediction comes in. It's not just a fancy AI technique. It's a whole new way of thinking about the future.
It's about making smarter decisions, even in a world that never stops throwing curveballs. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of conformal prediction. I think we've all learned that there's a lot more to AI than just making predictions. It's about understanding uncertainty and using it to our advantage.
Absolutely. And who knows what other exciting applications we'll discover for conformal prediction in the future.
The possibilities really are endless. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening.